Hello, I am the Restless Kaiser and we are modelling for Advantage. So today we're going to take a look at the new Flames of War set, Hit the Beach, their new big box starter set. So as before, I'm going to try and move everything from this box into this box, inside of the box, in the hope that you can see it more clearly. So to begin with, as you can see, there's a lot of plastic in here. I think there's another starter kit that they offer called Fury, which we might review later, which has much smaller forces in it. This is a fairly sizable amount of plastic to be starting with. And so off the top, we have got 8 sprues of Shermans. These are American Shermans, US Shermans. The sprue is a 2017 M4A1 Sherman. So it's different to the previous starter set, Open Fire, which had British Shermans in it, Sherman 5s. And it's different to the Shermans that come with the tank skirmish game, which have a very different arrangement. Not only is the top hull different, but the 75 and 76 variants are on the same sprue. It's like a double-sized sprue. In this case, you get 8 basic sprues, and you get 3 of these upgrade sprues, which are the M4A1 76. So only 3 of these 8 tanks can be the Sherman 76. You can see it's a different turret, different gun, a few other features, and so I assume the intention is that you have a command group of 2 tanks, which are 75s, a platoon of 3 75s, and 3 76s in another platoon, which is an interesting set to start with, I guess. I don't know quite how that works in the army builder and so forth, but you have the option to build up to 3 of them as 76s. Interesting little piece of scenery that you get in this is the V1 flying bomb. This did come in the previous set, although now it's in coloured plastic. I think that this builds up to roughly the size of one of the in-game objective markers, which is quite nice for cosmetic bit of scenery. So onto the German equipment. They don't get nearly as many armoured vehicles, so they do, among other things, get a pair of these Pak 40 75mm guns, which look really nice and easy to put together. I'm quite pleased about that. They also came in the previous set. We get a huge pile of bases, presumably enough to put everything together, and we get 3 Panzer IVs, which are, again, as you can see here, you've got the skirts, and we've got the spaced armour around the turret there. So this is a late war, maybe a H or a G, something like that, with a long 75. Upper hull here. So yeah, this is a nice looking little kit that looks like it'll go together quite well. Even got a little bit of the Zimmerit details on the front there, so it should take a wash quite well, hopefully. But only 3 there, only a single platoon. In the previous kit you got Stugs, which, if you're going to have a single platoon of armoured vehicles, strikes me as making a little bit more sense. I'm pretty sure that German doctrine by this period of the war, there were only tanks in panzer divisions rather than dispersed among other formations. You get a tank commander sprue. I wouldn't bet my house on it, but these look like American commanders to me. Whether there's something on the infantry sprue you can use as a German commander, maybe one of these is German, I'm not quite sure, but I don't think so. I think these are American commanders. Nice pack of 20 dice, 10 green, 10 grey, for your different factions. Again, the same kind of weight and size as the other dice that you get from Battlefront Miniatures, really nice. And onto the infantry sprue then, or the 2 sprues. These, I had a quick look, comparing them with the previous set. It is the same, right down to the fact that somewhere on here is a British tank commander, rather than, and there are no Brits in this set. So these sprues are a bit odd, because it isn't that you don't have 1 paratrooper squad for the US and 1 sprue for the Germans. These sprues are all mixed up, and they look identical, but if I overlay them, you can see that whilst they are entirely identical in most of the rows, there is a section across here where there are some differences, and this is so the US for the 60mm mortar that the paratroopers get, I think, and so forth. So there are some small differences here. So if you wanted to split this with a friend, that's where the problems come in, because these models you're going to have to build on the bases. But speaking of building them directly, the instruction sheet very nice, similar to the previous one. It outlines precisely which figure goes on which base, although it does suggest you can mix that up a little bit. And you see these letters along here, they are clearly marked on the outside of the sprue, so the different types of infantry bases are clearly assembled. They claim that there'll be a few left over. I'm not sure. As I say, I haven't built them yet. But these are really simple, clear instructions, and I like that. I like that a lot. That sprue's quite over-facing when it's a sea of grey plastic. And so looking for these letters to be able to assemble those bases is going to be quite important to me, I think, with my aging eyes. Same on the reverse for the Americans. So those are the sprues, which is probably the main reason anybody is watching this video. But let's have a look at the paper. So noticeably, I think this is new from Flames of War, but I could be wrong, is this handy fold-out quick start. Now, for those of you that are familiar with Games Workshop products, a simple fold-out quick start set of core rules is something that they've been handing out with their box sets of various types for the past couple of years. I think it's a really good thing because it means you can get a battle in a box and you can get started. Obviously, you're not going to get very far just with these rules, but it does mean you can tear open the boxes, glue it all together, and play it on the kitchen table if you wish to. But they're not going to carry you very far, I don't think, although I haven't actually played this. We do get a full A5 copy of the rules. They obviously sell a nice hardback one, which is double the size of this. But these are, you know, shove in your pocket, pass on to a friend, because I think they're handing these out with just about all of these box sets. And finally, I think, the unit cards. So you have your kind of formation stuff with a few of the rules guidelines and the supporting elements, and then the individual unit cards. These are really nice. I saw the Team Yankee ones a few years ago, but these have got really high quality full color photographs, which are going to let you not only have you not need to memorize a whole bunch of unit stats. You can have these around the outside of the table, but they're not a bad painting guide, to be honest. Certainly for a starter into 50mm World War II such as myself, I think they're a really nice feature. So what's missing from this kit? Well, there's a couple of things that were in the old box, which is slightly larger. If I move this over to one side. In the previous open fire box, compared with this, what did you get that you're not getting in here? Well, you won't be too disappointed to discover. So if we bring this, the old box is a little bit bigger, it's a little bit deeper. And what it has, really the only major difference, is it had a forces guide, which kind of allowed you to expand a little bit on the armies that you've got in the starter box. Had a quick start guide, and it had little formation sheets, and it also had the ubiquitous cardboard scenery. To be honest, unless you're 13 and playing on the kitchen table, you don't have a lot of use for this stuff. It's nice that they include it, and you know, it's really nice in a starter set, but I think anyone that's investing in a starter set like this is fairly serious about it. There's a lot of modelling to do here. As I say, they do a smaller starter kit, which may be more suitable for absolute beginners. Thank you for your time, and see you in the future.